LPT, you don't need to find a job you love. You simply need to find a job you don't hate. I don't know if this has been said before by anyone else, but it needed to be. Wow, this took off. I wasn't expecting that. Thank you for the awards, upvotes and input. I hope this post helped someone out there.
Literally. I quit a job I hated for a job I can tolerate and am much happier regarding having to go to sleep at night and wake up for work.
If you can't find a job that aligns with your passion, find one that can fund it. For most of us, the latter is the best option.
There's another way to put it. If you consider these three aspects of a job: 1. Autonomy, being left alone to do the job, rather than being competency. Are you good at this? You frequently get compliments, or correction, criticism. 3. Satisfaction, this would kind of fall under the love the job part. Is it mundane and boring, or challenging and makes a difference? If you look at a job this way, you can see why loving what you do could still lead to a miserable time working.
Do what you're good at and can get paid well for, so that you can do what you enjoy doing for your hobbies. Your work can ruin your hobbies.
I have no passions and there will never be a job I want to have. In at a good place now that gives generous time off and really strives to hear our ideas. Pay is okay, definitely could be worse, but it's not great. They keep asking what I aspire to and what I'd like to do here. They're encouraging me to move up around here and do more stuff, but I DK what to do. I'm not passionate about anything really, and there isn't a career path for me. Just trying to figure out how I can fit in here because I don't want to leave. It's baffling to me that people can have dream jobs. Who the dreams about having to go to work?
This is definitely true most of the time, but found that for me personally I needed a job. My mental health has been terrible for years and forced me to quit quite a few jobs as I became too unwell in them. Genuinely at one point thought I'd never be able to work due to how unstable I would. Forward to now, I've been working in an animal sanctuary for a year and a half now and love it. Like any job, it's got its fair share of moments and bad parts, but on the days where I feel terrible and don't want to leave the house or get up, I do it for the animals I care for, and it's something one dog will not change the world, but surely for that one dog, the world will change forever.
I've long thought that when it comes to careers, there is a decision triangle that consists of good compensation, low stress, loving what you do. Pick two. Maybe that's cynical, but it is also practical in my experience. There's a lot of things in life worse than having a job that provides for a happy lifestyle, provided that you don't hate. There are a few things worse than a job you hate.
The most miserable people I have ever met in my life were people whose passion became their profession. The happiest people? The ones who had careers that allowed them the freedom to pursue their passions.
Find something you don't hate that pays you well enough to fund the kind of things you do love. I've been a supervisor at a coffee shop for more than 10 years, mainly B.C. My day is done by 1 p.m. and I can spend the rest of my time being an artist. Since it's not my main source of income, I get to make whatever I want most of the time. My mother doesn't look like it, but I'm happier than I ever was at a 9 to 5.
What is more important than the things you do day to day in your job are the people you're working with. If you find a job with nice colleagues, everything will be much more fun. Like most of the things in life, smile with a halo.
Love greater than don't hate greater than hate, not that it needed to be said.
Same here. Swore I'd never use my CDL to just be a trucker, but I was miserable in my management role, so I figured I'd taking the trucking job. While I find something, turns out, for the first time ever, I don't dread getting up for work anymore. It just doesn't feel like work. I just gotta get up and drive. Plus, I don't have to worry about other people doing, or not doing, their jobs. And I can spend a day with my thoughts. Lack of stress to bring home is a huge increase to overall life quality.
Waking up isn't really easier, but not waking up in the middle of the night with anxiety is pretty nice.
IDK man, I'm really considering starving to death than work another job I despise.
Yeah, jobs that aligned with my passion didn't pay a living wage and were, for reasons, insanely competitive to get. Zookeeping. I went with the latter and got a factory job. I have my pets and garden and am able to provide pretty well for myself. I volunteer at the local zoo when I want and feel much better than I would if I had to have a roommate or second job, or the insecurity of living paycheck to factory job has led to better things for me too. I'm no longer working in production.
This should be a rest of the owl post, because I can barely find either.
My job is boring AF and all I do is just end up sitting in front of my computer for 2 hours doing actual work and off for the rest of the day. I don't hate it, and I don't find it my passion. But does it fund everything else and allows me more time for myself every single day.
100% this. The moment you monetize something you love, are passionate about, it is no longer just yours. It also relies on the taste, opinions of the people paying for it. So better to turn something you really love into a hobby rather than a job. IMHO.
I'm a teacher working at a great school and I teach my favorite subject. Low stress, great kids and coworkers, but I'm 3 hours from any friends and family and live in the middle of nowhere. I recently accepted a position in my hometown. More money, close to friends and family, and it's a different subject they are willing to train me in, so here's hoping I love it like I do now.
This tracks. I have great colleagues and it's full-time remote, but the pay, stress, and work levels are insane. I don't have a passion and I don't have skills to jump for another job, nor do I have a field I'm interested in gaining skills like I'll never not hate work or find something I don't dislike. Plus, having no real hobbies make tips like OPs feel weird.
Can confirm as a former somewhat professional in music. These days I never touch my guitar anymore.
This is the thing, I honestly don't understand how anyone could love I really like my job, but I'm still locked in 9 to 5 doing it 5 times a week. If someone told me I had to watch TV from 9 to 5, 5 times a week, I would hate that too.
I'd take the opportunity to move up, as long as it pays better, keeps the perks and I don't hate it, but hey, that's found. The idea that you have to make your passions your career and livelihood is a corporate myth to get people to work harder without paying more. The idea is that if you're passionate you'll be committed and do anything for whatever it is to achieve that elusive thing you're passionate about. And they only have to promise to give you more, eventually. If you work hard equates success with working a lot, making a lot of money and getting to whatever the highest rank possible is for whatever perks it offers. Never mind that sometimes that rank is more stressful, doesn't have as many perks as expected, and you don't make as much as you'd expect in the grand balance of things, while simultaneously reducing the importance of other things in people's lives, like friends, families, hobbies, etc.
I'ma be that guy, but you do clearly have passions and aspirations. Everyone does, we just don't respect some of the less glorious. If you like sleeping and resting, then by all means be great at sleeping and resting. Get a nice bed, learn how to enhance that rest, and be happy. Obviously better than sleeping on rocks, right? Have fun and be at peace with it, sounds great. Same with enjoying video games or cinema or anything. One generation's watches Netflix all day is another generation's wise book. Pursue all sorts of passions, they're just not the right ones. But we strive for them anyway.
I'll happily take one.
Yeah, picking 2 seems unattainable for most people. I'd love to get even 1.
So it comes down to work-life balance, not turning your passion into a career. The happiest people I've ever met fulfilled their dream by turning their passion into a career. I can see why it could happen the other way if you're not careful, but I think it definitely skews towards the positive.
I followed my passion and turned it into a career. A few weeks ago I cried with joy because I'm getting paid to film people telling me their stories, and I work 1 week a month.
Do you listen to a lot of podcasts? I've always fancied a driving job just for that reason. That, or I'd get some language tapes or something.
Don't you still have to worry about people doing their jobs when they're loading, unloading you? I heard that truckers don't make money unless they're moving. If that's not a hurdle, that sounds like a great job.
I was this close to quitting my stable salaried career with benefits to chase my childhood dream of being a zookeeper. Then I found out they make like $11 an hour.
With jobs, pick 2. Well paid, low barrier to entry, enjoyable. If a job is low barrier and enjoyable, it won't pay well. If it's well paid and enjoyable, then it's super hard to get in. If it's well paid and easy to get in, it probably lol. Scrolling through this thread I see this is already a reply.
I'm a wildlife biologist and I see this so much with folks in the biology world. The amount of young biologists who fall into the trap of unpaid internships or minimum wage zoo jobs is so high. I hate to see it, but it's so hard to get your foot in the door, and there's almost always someone who is willing to work for free if they get to interact with wildlife.
For me it was work job. I don't like to fund schooling for job. I could stand to fund the things I enjoy.
Yup. I went through a few jobs and either they don't pay me enough, I don't get along with my coworkers, or the boss is an absolute idiot. Or a combination of jobs seems the same. They try to milk you for everything you have, while trying to shame you for wanting anything in. I'm unemployed and on one hand I don't dread going to bed at night, but on the other hand I dread running out of money. But this is honestly better.